Blog Talk Radio.
Hello, and welcome to Shedding the Bitch Radio, where you can discuss, debate, and get advice on how to discover and shed the bitches of fear, insecurity, self-doubt, and negative mindsets so you can realize your dreams and life purpose and create and accelerate the riches you want in life. Join us here live every Tuesday at noon Eastern and dialogue with us at 818-572-2910. You can also chat with us at Blog Talk Radio /SheddingTheBitch or share your stories on our website at SheddingTheBitch.com. Whatever the bitch is that's holding you back from living your life to the fullest, it's not worth giving up the riches in life that you deserve. So call in now and let Bernadette Bose know what's holding you back. 818-572-2910. Good day, everyone. How are you on this beautiful, beautiful Tuesday? Or maybe it's Wednesday, maybe it's Monday, wherever you might be around the world. Welcome to Shedding the Bitch Radio. I'm so happy that you are here. We are in the thick of summer. It is hot. It is hot, and I hope it's comfortable wherever you are and you're not dealing with any of the heat or humidity that many of us, especially in the South, are dealing with. But I hope you're having a wonderful day. It is, the middle of July. Can you believe it? And we always kind of talk throughout this month in regards to being mid-year, 6 months gone, 6 months, to go. Where are you with your goals? Where are you with your assessments? Where are you with just overall what it is that you set out to do, given these 12 months in 2018, yet 6 months are gone. So what we'll do as we wrap up the month of July is we'll continue to talk goal setting. We'll continue to talk resetting. Many of you approach me about the fact that you just get so easily distracted. You get so easily burned out. And therefore, you tend to fall victim to, once you are down, you kind of stay there. And then it's a struggle to kind of move forward and get up. And we're going to talk over the next couple of weeks to kind of gear you up and get you excited. If you're not already, many of you are. I also get a lot of you telling me how you are able, especially those of you who write down your goals, you define your goals, you track your goals, you do look at them and assess them very honestly, and then you shift them and adjust. And, some go away, some get ramped up, some just stay on track. And quite honestly, I even sat with my coach, I want to say it was last Monday or maybe the Monday before, and I might have even mentioned it. And she is, and I kind of talked about what is it we need to be doing and what is it I need to be focused on. Many of you who know me kind of know that I always take on probably too many projects at the same time, because I just have all these ideas and all these goals and dreams and aspirations, and they all have a common link, and it happens to be kind of in the entertainment, or at least I should say media, personal development area. And yet at times, as much as they all feed each other, it doesn't allow me to go narrow and deep into any one thing. So she and I talked about that I would be narrowing my scope at least to two things, So everything about Shedding the Bitch, whether that is my personal and professional coaching, whether that is my script, so forth and so on. And the other is tied to that, being that holding those educational and engaging and fun programs that bring together creatives and investors. So you won't see any difference in what it is that I am making myself available to you for. At the same time, other areas and other groups and other individuals will see some narrowing there. And it'll be a great thing, a beautiful thing. And I am leveraging what I preach in that July is a perfect time for any of us to be doing that, and getting even feedback and input from individuals, whether it's a professional coach or a personal friend or an accountability partner or a buddy, whatever the case might be. It's always good to have that objective, unbiased third party looking in at what it is that you're doing, but more importantly, what it is that you're actually producing or achieving. And I just found myself for the first 6 months doing great work for the clients that I currently had, doing great work for at least the event and what it is that I was setting myself, targeting myself to achieve with some events in June. But I wasn't able to adequately and successfully accomplish what I wanted around my scripts and my speaking work that I do. So that's where Joan and I just decided to take a really blunt look at it and make some adjustments. So we'll talk about that over the next couple of weeks as we finish out July and move into August. All right. But today, as we talk about kind of putting ourselves out there, tackling and pursuing our goals and our dreams, we all know that it takes a lot of not only perseverance and determination and focus and clarity, but it also takes faith. And you can define that and you can view that in any way, shape, or form that you want to, whether it's from a religious perspective, a spiritual perspective, or it's just based on, your own inner gut and intuition. But faith, believing in what it is that you're doing, I can't, and I've never found anyone that can deny how that drives you and how that either drives you or holds you back. If you have it, if you have that faith, if you have that belief, if you have that excitement and passion toward what it is that you're doing, then you have a better time dealing with the ups and the downs of life. If you lack that, and maybe you just haven't tapped into your core or your passion or what it is that you really want to be doing, then you may lack that faith, that confidence, that inner will to want to do the work that you do. We all fall into those traps at times in our periods or in our lives. We find that we're just not excited, and therefore we kind of drag. Well, what we're going to be talking about today, but what we also want to be always keeping in mind is the role of faith in that and in what it is that we do. So that's going to be our conversation today. And I'm kind of dragging this opening out simply because our guest is having a little bit of a challenge getting into the studio. So I'm waiting to see her come and join us. But just to give you a little kind of heads up, we're talking to Candy Lee, who is a singer, an artist. At the same time, I found it very intriguing that she also has kind of enriched that through her own personal and professional coaching and training, and she's a speaker, and she has a number of other talents or skills or areas of focus and passions. And so she has a story that just drew me to want to speak to her more all around just how she's taken her own journey and her discovery of her faith level, I'll call it, got that scale from 1 to 10 or that degree of faith that one has in order for her to then allow even her music, even her words of her lyrics to really move her and take her through her journey to where she is today. So as soon as we see her coming on, we'll get into that discussion. And in the meantime, let me think, are there any announcements we can then take a small break while we are getting her on board. And let's see, what else is going on? Well, as many of you know, don't leave us. I promise this is going to be an awesome conversation. As many of you know, I'm mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically preparing myself for a little journey that I'll be taking the first couple of weeks of August. And it's a long story. I won't, I won't get into all of it, but I'll just say, because I've mentioned it on the show over the last several weeks, that with a few family members who go off to this remote island that is in a family of one of my sister's husbands, and it really is remote, and it has some cabins, it has a boat house, it has a dock, but basically that's it. It doesn't have electricity. It does have running water. From what I understand, when it is operable, we can actually take showers, but if not, then it's doing everything from showering to laundry in the lake. And you basically, since you have no access to television or your laptops or your phones or any of the technology distractions, it's actually a kind of a period where you're hanging out in your bathing suit all day long. You're hanging around in groups. You're playing games, like real games that we used to play that didn't require plugging in. Reading books. I'll be doing a lot of writing. I'll be doing a lot of inner tapping into my inner self to kind of discover even more about who I am and who I want to be, as well as I do hope that it'll bring me kind of a great creativity when it comes to my writing and my speaking and all the programs that I do work on. So I'm really looking forward to it, but I have to get kind of mentally prepared, simply because you know how addicted we are to our technologies and how dependent we are of them. And at the same time, I do have clients and I do have work. And though they understand or are very supportive of my taking this time and my having this opportunity and this blessing with my family, there is still work to be done. So it's a matter of kind of managing that, preparing for that, and adjusting my plans around it. So we'll see. So I'm right there. You can say some prayers for me. I'll be just fine. But I just need to work on just relaxing and enjoying the space, so to speak. All right, so there is really no other news I need to be talking about. So we're going to take a break, and when we get back, we're going to be talking space. We're going to be talking dirty little secrets. We're going to be talking all about overcoming and succeeding. And we're going to be talking about a 111 network, a 111 network. So we'll get our guest, Candy Lee, on board, and we will be right back.
You are listening to Shedding the Bitch Radio with Bernadette Bose. We are inspiring individuals around the globe to discover, confront, and shed their bitches of fear, insecurity, and negativity so they can create the riches in their career, business, and life they deserve. Be sure to check out Bernadette's book, Shedding the Corporate Bitch, Shifting from Bitch to Rich in Life and Business, available on Amazon and sheddingthebitch.com. We also want to thank our sponsors, TSR Consulting, who offers a broad range of tax services for small to corporate-sized clients. Go to tsrconsulting.com to learn more. And Parker House Virtual Services, who provides virtual assistance and social media support for small to medium-sized businesses. Email Deborah Parker at deborahparker78@gmail.com for more information. To become a sponsor or advertiser on our program, email us at mediarelations@sheddingthebitch.com. Shedding the Bitch Radio airs every Tuesday at noon Eastern Time. Be sure to go to blogtalkradio.com/Shedding the Bitch Radio and follow the program for all of the updates and announcements of our guests and show topics. Now let's return to Bernadette and Shedding the Bitch Radio.
Welcome back, everyone. Yes, indeed, it is Bernadette on Shedding the Bitch Radio. And we are still waiting for our guest. I'm not sure what the challenge is, but that's okay because I'm so looking forward to talking with her. Let me give you some background of her so that way she can take a deep breath and not stress out as she's trying to to work her way onto the program. Let's see. Woman of God and recording artist Candy Lee has just released her Dirty Little Secret album, and she wouldn't be here to sing her story if it weren't for her power of faith. She basically says that she is a phoenix rising from the ashes, as a fiery and fierce as a blade forged in fire. Born in Los Angeles, California, her father noticed how spectacular his daughter's vocal range was at a young age. He desperately wanted her to share his love of country music, but she was not touched by it. It was not until she heard another artist sing with the same passion and raw emotion that she finally understood her father's hope for her. That voice, and I wonder if any of you can kind of identify who that might be. I actually, before I even saw this next sentence, had kind of thought about this. It's a woman back in, a number of years ago, number of decades ago, but was known for her unbelievable passion and raw emotion. But that individual, that voice, was Patsy Cline. And it was a voice that resonated and set the tone for Candy's music in the future. As a child, Candy radio streamed the sounds of powerhouse singers such as Aretha Franklin, Winona Judd, and Karen Carpenter. Candy Lee poured all of her energies towards one day recording an album of her own. She spent most of her childhood in Europe attending German schools and traveling with her talent across the globe, performing live on television and radio. At 18, Candy Lee moved to Music City to take her music career more seriously. Nashville, Tennessee marked the ground for her footprint in the industry and the magic milestone of becoming a mom. That new responsibility was a gift. Candy Lee knew she only had one opportunity to become the mother her child deserved. She put her recording dreams on hold and rerouted her family of two to Las Vegas to be closer to the family. In 2004, with a vast sense of duty and purpose, Candy Lee had the vision to embark upon a new venture. She looked at her bank account and saw $1.11 to her name. She took the $1.11 and placed it in an envelope under her pillow. This reality initiated a paradigm shift once again in her purpose and vision. She refused to allow herself to be limited by her bank account or circumstances. Candy Lee went on to create the 111 Network, where she became a personal and professional development coach. Through leadership, speaking, training, and business strategy consulting, the 111 Network empowers individuals and organizations with the tools and mindset to take both personal and professional results to the next level. Despite all the awards and recognition won over the years, Candy Lee's greatest accomplishment has been reaching these mompreneur. Her path came full circle when she took her talents back to the stage, when her voice caught the ear of widely recognized Grammy winner producer Jeffrey Weber. Candy Lee has been actively auditioning throughout Los Angeles, but kept facing producers in pursuit of the next Disney star. Weber, though, heard her vocals and knew this was a voice as unique as the singer herself. But more importantly, he recognized the passion, commitment, and dedication to her craft. Together with an enviable assemblage of mind-boggling all-star musicians and vocalists, they've recorded her life story and created an album, Dirty Little Secret. Candy Lee's vocals took on unique style reminiscent of her favorite heroines. Candy Lee released the Dirty Little Secret single on Sexual Assault Awareness Day 2018, reinforcing a message near and dear to Candy Lee's now public journey. Written over the course of 2 years, the album stands as an anthem for social justice. Each track plays an emotional part of her history, addressing inequality and misogynistic imprudence that was once acceptable in our society. In addition to launching No More Entertainment Records with Weber, the duo is now in the thick of producing Rise Up With Me, a transformational music-based talent competition. Never before has a music competition program woven true music mentorship with personal development into its show format, providing compassion and support to fuel emotions that generate a legitimate transformation in contestants. Rather than being a typical reality show chock full of drama, Rise Up With Me will be a movement that provokes universal change and possibility. A self-proclaimed have-to artist, Candy Lee represents the like-minded inspiration and empowerment behind Hollywood's Time's Up, Me Too, No More, and Why We Wear Black movement. She knows it's never too late to join the party and also knows the best way to deliver her message is through music. Now, I'd love to say that I have her on with me, but I can't say that I do. So let me just talk with you and see if we are going to be able to find our guest. If not, then I'm going to be speaking to you about my own God-speaking moments. So don't go anywhere. I really was looking forward to having you learn and hear more about Candy. All right. So as we possibly hope to get her on the call before we are due to finish, what this really drummed up for me, this whole conversation, and even reading her bio, which was quite lengthy, but it came in handy, didn't it? But it was very kind of in line with my own story. And, to kind of support this conversation that we had planned to have on faith, I don't know if you've ever kind of drawn out or laid out your life map. And what I mean by that is I did this several years ago because when people would ask me, how would you sum up the path, the journey, whatever word you want to use, of life that you've been through. And I simply would say it's been very both organic and it's been a God-speaking moment for me, or a series of God-speaking moments, two of which are what I'm also going to be spending time in Canada focused on in writing out my next book and my next set of kind of stories, but also tips and advice and lessons learned for you. But what I mean by that is, organic, meaning that everything definitely that preceded the next thing led me to that next thing. It wasn't a major interruption. It wasn't a major reroute. It wasn't a major shakeup. Not to say that my life hasn't been made up of shakeups or situations that kind of rocked me to my core, but more so. So, for instance, when I was very young, I was definitely being one of the middle children of 12. I was very much a showboat. I was very much always wanting attention. I was the loudest person in the room. I remember my grade school teachers in the choir, would tell me that I, was always the voice you always was able to hear. Not that it was the best voice, but I always just, was so loud and passionate about everything that I did. And then I kind of, went into retail at a very early age because being one of 12, our parents kind of, taught us very early on that if we wanted something, especially if we wanted something special, we had to go out and find the means to acquire it ourselves. So I was like, okay, fine. Not only will I babysit, but I'll wrap gifts in a retail store. Well, that experience then led me into mastering retail, mastering merchandising and buying, and that led me into a early corporate career while I was still in college as a buyer, as a merchant. That led me into solving problems for buyers and merchants that then took me into technology, business analytics, business intelligence, and that work led me into overseeing, as a corporate executive, overseeing processes and procedures. While at the same time, all that's happening, my B story, as we call it as writers, is that I was, really transforming into not such a nice person. So of kind of a nasty leader, while at the same time, maintaining my faith, maintaining my, love for church, love for God, love for being a good person, yet definitely that was one of my forks in the road. My heart went one way and my mind went another way, leading to my firing from my corporate role, which then led me to writing that story, which led me to publishing the book, which led me to this radio show, which has led me to my scripts and my coaching and everything that I'm doing. So that's what I mean when it comes to organic. Well, then, then the next question is, okay, so what are these God-speaking moments? Well, if you are faith-based in any way, shape, or form, you then recognize when God's talking to you. You recognize when, the things that are being put in front of you, easy or hard, good or bad, joyful or painful, they're there for a reason, they're there for a purpose, and they're there because of God. So I sat down, and this was about the time I was writing Shedding the Corporate Bitch. I sat down and really tried to map out kind of the milestones and the events or situations or circumstances that led me to each of those major, forks in the road or major decisions in my life or major transitions in my life. And I recognized that in each of one of those things, it was God speaking to me to make those decisions, to take those risks, to make those changes, to transform who I was. So, for example, and this is so current in my being, this experience that I had, and there's been several, but I was sitting out at dinner. I want to say it must have been 2005. I was sitting out at dinner with my friends. Nothing in my family life was really, going on or disruptive. My father did fall, and we did have him in a nursing home right down the street from the house, and from my mother, so she could visit him on a daily basis. But there wasn't anything tragic or very concerning. It was just an ailing, 83, 84-year-old man. And my mother was in decent health, and the rest of the family were just fine, and nothing was going on with my social friends or my business. So I'm out at dinner with this group of friends, and we're kind of just talking and laughing and having a few drinks and eating dinner, when all of a sudden a spirit just rushed all throughout me, throughout my body. And the words I heard was, there's going to be a major change in your life tomorrow. And it rocked me to my core. And all I recall is just sitting there experiencing this and verbally out loud saying, a change is coming. And my friend saying, what does that mean, and why, or who are you talking to, and blah, blah, blah. And, I just simply said, a change is happening. Don't know what it is, but something is about to happen. And so I went home, I kind of sat on it and slept on it, and woke up the next day only to learn that it was my father. It was my father failing to such a degree that he would have to come home to hospice, and that he would be passed away in a couple of days. And so, but I also remember that experience, that God-speaking moment that I call it, was very comforting. It didn't scare me. It didn't create any sense of urgency. It just notified me. And learning of my dad needing to be home and passing in just a few days, it allowed me to just calmly and logically move forward and come on to and kind of make arrangements to get home and to be there and to take on what was going to transpire, not over the next couple of days, but over the next actually couple of weeks. And that's a whole different story as to why people hang on to life as opposed, in order to close some things out, and why what the doctor said was going to be a couple of days actually turned into probably about 7 or 10 days. It was all a blur due to everything that was going on. So those are God speaking moments for me. And in this conversation of faith and what even today, regardless of the high or the low, keeps me going. Just maintaining that idea that he's got me, and I just need to believe, and I need to just stay grounded in my faith, and every once in a while become very aware, very conscious, very present to when those God-speaking moments are happening. So I just simply sit with it and try to understand it because, of course, it's never black and white. It's very much it has to do with interpretation. Interpretation has to do with your belief system. You can interpret it one way or another, depending upon where your state of being is. So those are God-speaking moments for me. And I've had, several of them. One other that I'll share with you as I'm still trying to track down our guest, and she's still, for whatever reason, not sure, attempting to get onto the program. And we'll still have a good amount of time to talk with her. I'll share with you another situation that I haven't actually shared with a lot of people, because when it comes to religion, when it comes to talking about God and putting it out there and, wearing it on your sleeve, I tend to not want to do that because I respect, different views and different beliefs and different individuals and personalities out there. And I'm not one to preach or to evangelize, and certainly not one to pressure anyone to do anything or believe in anything or become anything that they are not. But this one other one absolutely also shook me to the core, but to this day I can tap into it to bring me comfort and relief. And it was when it was probably a couple of years after my father had passed away, and my father and I were very close. And that's a story in itself, and I don't want to be crying, so I'll share that another time. But, he had been passed for a couple of years. I was, and that was he passed in 2005. And I was struggling with a few things, mainly professional. And mainly financial, I should say, professional and financial. So I was at church one Sunday morning, and I knelt down. And those of you who meditate or pray, you may experience this yourself. But I went into such a deep meditative prayer state of mind that the next thing, and I don't know how many seconds, milliseconds, seconds, or minutes, I was in this state, quite honestly. But I went into this state of being to where there was three, I'll call them people, I'll call them even white coats standing in front of me. Now, there weren't white coats like as in doctors. They were more so white coats as in God, Jesus, and my father. So they were the white sheets, the white cloaks, let's call them cloaks, of God, Jesus, and my father. Now, I can't recall, and I never did recall them ever saying anything to me, but it was this imprint of hands on my shoulders that actually physically moved me in my pew. It just jolted me physically, and I knew that because when I kind of came back to being, the individual behind me asked if I was okay, and I said, and I just simply turned and I said, "I'm wonderful, thank you," because that's how tangible they were to me in that moment, in that second, in that being. And so, again, I don't know that there was any words that were to be shared before I was kind of jolted to reality. I just think it was meant to be a sense of comfort, a sense of being, a sense of just, I'm okay. And it was them just kind of, trying to signal to me that just maintain your belief, maintain your faith, and you'll be just fine. So those are some of my God-speaking moments that I'll also be capturing in my book called God-Speaking Moments. So we're going to take a quick break. I'm going to finalize and confirm if we'll have this awesome conversation with Candy Lee. In the meantime, you can look up information on Candy Lee, whether it's for our conversation today or another time, at candylee.com. And also at the same time, you can find her on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram as @Real Candy Lee. So you know how there's fake profiles out there, but her handles across the board are Real Candy Lee. And that's Candy with a K, Kandie. So we're going to take a quick break. I'm going to find out what's happening, and I'll be right back with you, everybody.
You are listening to Shedding the Bitch Radio with Bernadette Bose. We are inspiring individuals around the globe to discover, confront, and shed their bitches of fear, insecurity, and negativity so they can create the riches in their career, business, and life they deserve. Be sure to check out Bernadette's book, Shedding the Corporate Bitch, Shifting from Bitch to Rich in Life and Business, available on Amazon and sheddingthebitch.com. We also want to thank our sponsors, TSR Consulting, who offers a broad range of tax services for small to corporate-sized clients. Go to tsrconsulting.com to learn more. And Parker House Virtual Services, who provides virtual assistance and social media support for small to medium-sized businesses. Email Deborah Parker at deborahparker78@gmail.com for more information. To become a sponsor or advertiser on our program, email us at mediarelations@sheddingthebitch.com. Shedding the Bitch Radio airs every Tuesday at noon Eastern Time. Be sure to go to blogtalkradio.com/Shedding the Bitch Radio and follow the program for all of the updates and announcements of our guests and show topics. Now let's return to Bernadette and Shedding the Bitch Radio.
Welcome back, everyone. We've been talking faith and God-speaking moments and overcoming and just being present. And I was hoping that we were going to get our guest, Candy Lee, finally on the call, but she continues to have some challenges, probably in a location like I'm going to in a few weeks, where it's not going to be easy to connect, so to speak. So sadly, we will have to reschedule her, but that's also a good thing. And you now have learned all about her with the bio that I read earlier. And at the same time, you got some information in regards to faith and my God speaking moments. So we will kind of end it there on a high note of those speaking moments. And I'll look forward to having you right back here next Tuesday at noon Eastern Time. And we will get Candy rescheduled. And we will continue to have this conversation that is meant to provide you tips, advice, and sometimes tough love in order for you to be able to shift from bitch to rich. I will look forward to talking to you next Tuesday at noon Eastern Time. Everyone have a rich and prosperous week. Take care.
Thank you for listening to Shedding the Bitch Radio with Bernadette Bose. Join Bernadette every Tuesday at noon Eastern as she helps you shift your bitches to riches. And the dialogue is always going on at sheddingthebitch.com. See you next week.